Hey guys, today I'll be showing you another restoration project I've been working on, and this video is for Charles, who owns this really nice little Moog Opus 3. So Charles is just going to go over it for you, show you the thing's functioning, and give you a good overview of it before I box it up and get ready to go back home to you. So anyways, this unit, it got my usual. I stripped it completely down, replaced all the common failure components, got rid of the Moog, that nasty Moog foam I talk about. Recapped the keyer circuits so they're all evenly work correctly. Basically, there's a capacitor here and it relates directly to how your controller works. And since there's a cap per key, when they age, they actually lose their capacitance abilities, and so some of them be longer than others, some will be shorter than others. So you find an issue with your release times and your attack times. And so when I redo all that, it takes care of all that for you. But cleaned everything up real good. Flushed and lubed all the sliders so they move really clean, no scratchiness, just really clean. The only thing, I'm not sure if this happened in shipping or if it was something that you had already seen, but this end cheek here got cracked right there on the corner. And it actually, I had to glue it back together. I had to pull it back together and glue it. So that's the only cosmetic thing I had or seen, and so I had to actually fix that. But like I said, I don't know if that happened in shipping it. I'm going to box up a little bit different than how you sent it because it was this was exposed to the outside layer of the box, so it could have took a hard hit in shipping. So I am going to be bubble wrapping it a little bit different and just making sure that you don't have any issues with that on its way back home. But anyways, you can just see how clean it is. I'll go across the interface here. It's just a really clean instrument. It looks really good. And I'm really happy with it so far. It's done really good. Gave it some burn-in time, and it's working real good. I'll show you the back panel here too. I cleaned it up. My camera's plugged in. Apologize again for that. Keep forgetting to plug in my camera, letting it charge up. But anyways, you can see that just how clean the back panel is. I'll show you also, this is your serial number. Bear with me here. I'm going to hold the camera and turn it around here so I can show you this. So there's your serial number. It's 57141, and that's actually the power cord you sent with it. So I'm using your power cord. It's just a I forget what they call them, but it's the same cord they use on computers and stuff. But anyways, that's the overlook of it. Let me put the camera on the tripod here and I'll walk you through the sounds and just show you how great this thing sounds. Flip this around here. There we go. Alright, so this is all three sections together. So basically, for those that don't know, you got the strings, organ, and brass. And the way this works, I'll just go over the quick breakdown of what this thing is. So this is one of the few Moogs that I would actually consider to be an organ. And I would consider it to be a string machine, simply because of the way it works. It uses a VCO-based oscillator to drive a top octave synthesizer chip. And then it actually uses what they call gated dividers. This isn't a polymoog. A lot of people get confused. The polymoog is a string machine. The polymoog is not a string machine at all, and it's not an organ. It uses a whole different concept than what even this thing uses. This is very much an organ. Because of the gated divider technology they used, and these chips are actually found in organs. They're found in the early string machines of the 70s and 80s. But what a gated divider is, and I'll just break this down, is it's a divider that actually, it almost like it has a VCA internal. So what happens is you got keyer circuits, which I talked about earlier with the capacitors, that tie into these chips, and basically you got a frequency per note, and you got stages within a divider to support, for example, all the C notes. So one divider will support all the C notes, one divider will support all the D sharps, etc. And what it is each of those dividers produce a set of footages per note. That's how you get your drawbars, for example, of an organ, an electronic organ, that is. So what you got a 16 footage, 8 footage, 4 footage, 2 footage, and 1 footage. And what they did in this particular unit, and this is how it works in most organs, is they'll take those footages and put them on their own bus. So each divider has its own bus for the 16, 8, 4, 2, and 1. And then it's mixed. So it's actually mixed internal using these sliders up here in the organ section. Is how it works. But the concept of this is that there's not a whole lot of circuitry because things are internal to that divider chip. So it saves a lot of room, and then all you've got to really focus on is the keyer circuits, the dividers, and then the buses, and then the routing, however you'd want to design the routing of the instrument. In this case, they've got it fixed where you got an organ section which has all the footages. You got the strings, which uses 2 of the footages, uses the 8 footage and 4 footage off that divider. And you got your brass section, which uses the 16, 8, or 4. Any combination of 16, 8, or 4. And then that's actually, the brass is actually routed to the VCF. So your VCF, the Moog ladder filter, is actually the brass section. The strings is actually a bucket brigade chorus. It's a 3-stage bucket brigade chorus using the SAD 512s. Great chorus effect. Has a very Selena, Omni kind of sound to it. Very rich. And then, but that's basically how it works. So it's really an organ, as far as my as far as the technical aspects of it. It's an organ, or a string machine, because both the organ and string machines were very similar designs. Usually organs just had a chorus in them, which this has a chorus. So it's a string machine and organ. So that's kind of how it works. But anyways, I've got all sections combined here in this little mixer over here. It's actually stereo outs as well. I don't have it routed stereo. I've got it in mono out. But you can kind of hear how this works. So we've got all sections combined, which would be the chorus, the organ, and the VCF. And you can just kind of hear how this thing sounds. It's got a really good sound. As you can hear just how well that sounds. We'll go over each section here. So we'll start with the strings. Now the string actually has one section of a Polymoog resonator. So it's just the one section of a resonator. You got low, band, and high. And I'll go over those for you. So right now we're in organ. I'll show you, we're in strings. And I'll show you too the mode setting for the contour, which is really nice. And this is something that a lot of things didn't have back in the day, and you had to kind of work with what you had the keyboard. But anyways, we'll start here with just the strings. Anyways, you can hear right now it's going to reset every note, which is kind of annoying for some things. Because you can just see how that works. If we go to mode 2 now, it actually will, it won't reset, so it gives you that really warm, natural strings like you get from a like an ARP Selena. You can hear just how great that thing sounds. It's a great chorus, bucket brake chorus. But you've also got more options than most choruses that you find on like a Selena. The Omni kind of has this, but it's actually got a little bit more control here than what even the Omni has, like the ARP Omni. But first I'll go with the resonator section so we can actually shape the sound. that's your low pass, and you got a band pass. And then you got a high pass. So anyways, that's the resonator basically stage. You've also got your footage selections. We can go just with 8. Or we can go with 4. Or both. So you get something like that. Your chorus section also has a speed control, so you can go from fast chorus to slow chorus, which sounds like this right here. You've also got a depth control, so if we go back fast, there's no chorus there. You've also got a delay, which is associated with your modulation, but it works off your modulation delay, but you put this in delay mode. And you can actually make the chorus come in softer, so we'll actually make a fast attack. See how that works. So that's your delay. Now we'll go to organ. So the organ is actually the footages of the dividers. It's all the footages. So we'll start with 16. I'm going to go to the keyboard on this particular mode so you can actually hear that all footages are working within the notes, which means all your dividers are working. So we'll start at the highest note on 16 footage. So that's your 16, your 8. And then 4. And then we got 2. And then 1. And then you combine those. See how that works. You've also got a little tone filter for this as well, so we can adjust the tone source. So basically like a brightness filter. What you've also got, you got the modulation section, which this is a good time to show you this. So we can actually do LFM modulation, and we'll start. We'll just put a fairly fast rate, no delay. We can also put a delay on that, so we'll bring up the delay. Same delay we're using for our chorus effect earlier. See how that works. What's also interesting too is if you want to take, for example, the chorus and run the organ through it, you got this slider right here where you can mix the chorus. So we turn the chorus back on, slide the slider over, and that's going to look at this section through the chorus. Slow rate, you can almost get like a Leslie effect. We can put delay on that. How that works. It's just a really neat combination. Slide that back over this way, and then we're back to the organ mix over here. Once again, you can hear that reset. You can kind of see how that reset works really nice for depending on how you're wanting to use this. So if we go to 2, you'll see I can't really do that kind of pattern. And depending on your release time, it gets muddy because there's just so much. Anyways, you get the idea how that works. That's your organ section. And then we got the actual VCF section, which is brass. They call it VCF over here, organ brass. And you have the same thing. You can mix the organ into the filter. See how that works, and you actually got your own contour for the filter and your own contour mount. So it's kind of like its own little section. This is kind of what you find on the Poly Moog. Very similar, except you don't have the sample and hold modulation as far as what you find on the poly mode. But you do have a modulation input from this LFO here. So if you go to VCF, you hear this thing modulate. See how that works? We're actually playing with the, we'll go back here to this. So we're actually playing with the filters contour. So what we've also got too, we got the brass section here. So we got 16 footage, 8 footage, 4 footage. Then we've also got a preset mode, and what the preset does, it actually gives it a brass contour set. So seeing how that works. In variable, this actually turns this back into variable mode, so you can adjust your attack, your sustain level, your decay. So I got a fast attack, slow decay. We got that, and we'll combine the organ. When we combine the strings, we'll put a slower attack on it. Anyways, you can see how this works, and it's basically combine all these sections together, and it gets really, really cool. But you can. So what we got? We got the organ going to the chorus, and we also got the organ going to the filter. So just by sliding these two sliders to mix them differently. Works. It gets really, really thick. It's a really warm instrument. I'll show also your pitch bend works. What's also neat about the contour is actually you'll notice that your chorus comes in later than everything else, which is kind of nice. So you actually get that kind of build up. anyways, that's just a good overview of it. You can just hear how great it sounds. It's one of my favorite string machines, organs, and it's small. That's what I like about this particular unit. It's just so small and it's light. You can just throw it under your arm and carry it around. It's not heavy like an old Arpsalina or even the Omni's pretty heavy. But I do have an Omni. I love it, but this is actually kind of my go-to string machine. Actually, when I want something that's like analog bucket brigade chorus, this is actually one of my favorite to go-to instruments, so to speak. But anyways, Charles, thanks again for letting me restore this thing for you, getting it fixed up for you. And all you guys that watch my videos, appreciate you watching. Got some more fun projects coming up. I know I've been saying that in the last couple of videos, but I do. I've got some other synthesizers in here that I think you guys are going to enjoy. And I'm going to be doing a little different video on those. I'm actually showing you a little bit of the restoration process, which I hadn't done in a very long time, and I understand that. But I think you guys will enjoy it. But anyways, take care, and we'll be in touch here very soon with more videos. Take care.